572-0383 and 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
Hi, this is Lotus. Join me every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for Unrestricted. What we don't talk about, what we should talk about, and what we will be talking about. Don't forget to join me every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Rev-Up St. Lucia 97.1 FM for Unrestricted.
It's now time for Unrestricted with your host, Lotus. Lotus, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Everyone in the diaspora, everyone locally listening, YouTube, Facebook, X, Radioland, online.
Online, yeah, that's right. That's right.
But online is YouTube and Facebook, and Andre as well. When you say online. Anyway, good morning. I'm happy to be back, Andre. How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
Not bad at all.
Okay, how's your family?
Everybody is good. I see a lot of things are happening on the station. Lots of shows, calls. It's good for you, Andre.
Yeah,
I'm very excited.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
And Unrestricted is here. And this morning, I don't know if I hear people talking about that part of this topic. So I figured we're going to exploit a little bit. And of course, I have a list of things in terms of how we learn to do these things. Andre, have you ever proposed to anyone?
You mean to a female?
Yes,
no.
Marriage.
No.
No, Andre?
No.
So you've never been engaged?
No.
Okay, Andre. Oh, my goodness. Andre is something else. Anyway, this morning, we're going to talk about how to say no to a marriage proposal. A lot of times, people ask you to get married, whether it's a male or female, and people say yes, but nobody talks about the no part. And quite a few people say no, or people say yes, but they do not want to say yes. They lie because it depends on the circumstance, right? And most times proposals come in public and it forces you to say yes.
Yes, I understand.
But you do not want to say yes. You understand? So this morning we're going to talk about how to say no to marriage proposals. And I'm not saying that I don't want us to think that I'm against marriage or we are downplaying marriage. I just think it's best for us to have long-lasting marriages. And sometimes it starts with saying yes when you do not want to say yes and you end up in a divorce, right? The divorce rates do show that something is wrong. So instead of saying yes to a marriage proposal, here's how we're going to, to say no when you really do not want to get married to somebody. You should not say yes. And I'm sure the callers, listeners, call me and tell me, was there a time when somebody asked you to get married to them and in your heart of hearts you didn't want to get married, but you opened your mouth and you said yes?
So are you saying you didn't want to get married to that person or you didn't want to get married at that time?
Both of them. Sometimes you don't want to get married to the person or you don't want to get married at that time. And there's a myriad of reasons, and that's what we're going to look at, why we can say no, we do not want to get married. I mean, you've been warned. Some people warn you. They say, you shouldn't get married. Be careful about getting married to that person. Or sometimes even our parents, they get very antsy when we get into relationships because they're feeling like, I hope my son doesn't ask that lady to get married, or I hope my daughter doesn't marry that man or that man. You know what I mean? So, what do you do when the person who loves you pops the question and you're not ready to say yes? Right? What if you never want to accept and marry him or her?
By the way, what's your take on women asking males to get married?
Personally, from a personal perspective, I would not ask a man to get married. Just only because I think that it is, for me, the masculine thing. I just see that's just my opinion. I would like a man to ask me to get married. But in the year 2025, with all the things that are going on now in terms of how we have grown and our evolution, nowadays women can ask men to get married. I don't know, I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing. I mean, you can take the bull by its horns if you feel like, somebody is with you for so long and he's not thinking about that. Because sometimes, I think people sometimes can be together for a long time and the man doesn't even think of marriage. Maybe it's just not on his mind, not in a bad way. And sometimes the woman now can really bring it up in conversation. What's going on? What are we doing? You know what I mean?
Right. I was just about asking you that question. Because while most females will not come out and say, will you marry me? They could apply some pressure on you.
Well, you can start the conversation. You can say...
we've been together for so long.
We've been together for a while. I mean,
we have children.
What is this? We have children.
We've been living together for 20 years.
Exactly. Is there an opportunity for us to tie the knot, to make it more, official? What are your thoughts on marriage? People start one way and you could change your mind later. Sometimes you get into a relationship, you have no intention of marrying that person. But over time, you realize, wow, she's been such a fantastic partner, or he's been such a great man. I would like to marry him. So over time, you can change your mind. So, it happens, Andre. Well, the problem is that most of the women being asked with a bright, sparkly diamond, they say yes because they don't know what else to do in the moment, especially if the question gets popped in front of an audience. So she says yes, and pictures are taken, and the next thing you know, it's all over Facebook. Everybody knows, and now she must tell him that she never meant to say yes. It's just a horrible scenario, right? So, because, and that's why I said a lot of people do it in public. They do not even give you a little hint. A lot of men would like to surprise the woman. And I think, for me, even based on the research, the psychologist is saying, to me, you have to get some kind of hint from your partner, Andre, that she is interested in such an arrangement. I think, right? So to me, I wouldn't want to be with someone if I was a man and we never spoke about marriage, or there was never, maybe her parents were never married. There's just never a marriage narrative. And I planned this whole big surprise to get to pop the question. Like, I'm not sure, although they say life is a risk, right? But I'm not sure if she'll say yes. So inevitably, somebody will end up getting hurt, and the one who made the proposal end up completely publicly humiliated. So first off, if you're the one proposing, don't do it in public, right? That's what the research is saying. I don't care how certain you are that she's going to say yes. It is a bad idea to do it in public. If you don't know if there's a hint of some acceptance, or or if she's going to be very embarrassed, or if she's there are people that really cannot handle public surprises. I don't know if you like public surprises, Andrew. No. You see, you're a more private guy. So if we were dating and I brought you flowers on air, you would be very embarrassed?
No, not for that.
But if I said, Andre, and I kneel, and I said, Andre, would you marry?
That's right. And you do that at Massey.
Exactly, Andre. So, what they're saying is that you need to actually have some kind of, maybe just a little hint that the person, and most times, if you do it in public, or sometimes you do it in front of your family members and your friends. And so everybody, you put the person in that position and they don't know, they don't want to say yes, but they say yes because they don't want to embarrass you right there. Now, I don't know of any situations where somebody said no in a public proposal. I'm not sure. Have you seen that?
I think I've seen that already. I think I have.
Where the person says no, said no right there.
I think I've seen that already.
I've never seen that. I've never seen that.
Some video
I don't know,
other.
maybe the callers can let me know if they've seen that, where someone has asked somebody to get married and they say no right there and there in front of all your friends and your family. Turning down a marriage proposal can be a challenging situation. It's important to handle it carefully to prevent offending anyone and to uphold your respect for them as well as yourself. So, we're going to look at Priya V. She is a consultant psychologist, and she broke down some of the things that you can do to turn down a proposal. So that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about how to say no to a proposal. And we know that a lot of times people, ask you to get married and you don't want to. Even sometimes there's delusion going on in a relationship, Andre, where the man or the woman know that the relationship has so many issues, but yet one of them will ask the other one to get married. And the other one is thinking, is he okay? Like, why is he asking me to get married? This relationship is not one that I think is in a place for marriage. And some of us would still say yes because we feel bad and we don't want to say no to the person. So, Andre, provide the numbers because we definitely want our callers to share in their opinions.
Okay, the fixed line, if you'd like to call, is 572-9710. Fixed line 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. So again, fixed line 572-9710, or WhatsApp 287-0971.
Okay, so first of all, you can be blunt but be kind. If you're going to turn down a marriage proposal, be blunt but be kind. You can reject someone by saying things like, I really appreciate you telling me how you feel. I'm truly touched by your concern, and then end that by saying that you do not feel prepared to take the next step and get married right now. This is one of the tips to reject a marriage proposal. So you are blunt but kind. So you do not make the person feel horrible and say, me, why? No, that kind of thing. So your response must be kind as well. Being truthful about the current situation is important. Or you can also say something like, I cherish our relationship and I want to make sure it is solid before we make such a big decision. You can say this when you have some kind of feelings or liking towards the person. I mean, you care about the person. Obviously, if you're in a space of engagement, it's probably because you have been with this person because you really like the person, you really care about the person. So you do not want to just say, again, things anyhow or answer anyhow. Communicate your feelings honestly and openly. So this makes it clearer to the other person that you are hesitant due to maybe timing or, rather than your feelings about them. So you can probably spend some time explaining maybe why you're not ready yet, if you feel a kind of way about the person. But if you really do not want to get married to the person, Andre, you still have to be kind, but find a way to communicate that message, so that it lands honestly and that the person can take that in. Instead, rather than being, hurtful in the way we say things. Sometimes we can be very hurtful even to the person we love.
Okay, you have a call.
We have a call? Oh, this is so nice.
Okay, this is Unrestricted with Lotus.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
And good morning, Andre.
Good morning.
Okay, now, I don't think that a woman should ask a man for her hand in marriage. I think it's a masculine thing. A man should do that.
Okay.
I don't believe that person should get married because everybody's getting married. It's the in thing to do. I think that you should get married because it's the right thing to do. Not because Andre is married and Lotus is married and we are all friends. I'm not married now. I have to get married too. No. Also, I do not believe that I should be living with Andre. We have a 20-year-old daughter and we are not married. I'm cooking, I'm cleaning, I'm doing everything for you. I'm good enough to be your girlfriend. When you go out there, you introduce me as your madam, your girlfriend. I do everything. I'm not your wife. And the unfortunate thing is that as soon as you pass common law wife, how did I become your common law wife? So I believe that if you're living with someone and you will not break up with them and everything is good, you should get married. And if you all are not going to get married, if you've lived with somebody for 10 years, like that's my limit on it, and you're not going to marry the person, you all should break up and let them make a way to see somebody else would marry them.
I like that you said that's your limit, because some people have a longer limit. So if they have no limits, some people are together for 30 years.
Very long time to give someone of your life, and you have another. Don't forget that you are not 10. You're in your 30s. You maybe in your 40s. You give another 10 again. You're in your 50s. Now you're getting married as what? An old person. You're not going to dress in white and have all the glitz and the glamour and enjoy a married life just for it to say you married and that's it. Or at the time, some people get married after a long time because they are now looking for a nurse, a doctor, or a medical person because they now need somebody to change their diapers. They need somebody to take care of them, so I'm going to marry you. But why didn't you marry me when I was still vibrant, young, and we could have enjoyed the married life?
True.
Anyways, I'll
Okay.
continue.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Bye.
Well, the thing is, there are varying circumstances. I mean, one of the biggest celebrity couples that I've seen that they are not married, from what I know, is Stedman and Oprah. I mean, there maybe different reasons why, and some people tell you if it ain't broke, they're not fixing it. I mean, she's rich, he's not broke, I'm assuming, and maybe they have their own reasons why they're not going to get married, right? But this morning we're really going to talk about if somebody asks you to get married, they ask you to get married, and you do not want to get married, how you will tell that person. And the first thing we spoke about was being blunt and honest. The second thing is paying attention to the timing. The timing of rejecting the person, wondering how to reject a marriage proposal. Well, emphasize how important timing is for both persons. So if you've said no, maybe in public, or what they're saying here is do not wait for days to explain yourself, or if you've said yes, to say no, to change your mind, right? So somebody has proposed to you in public. You said yes at the time. You were caught off guard. You were surprised.
And especially if sometimes some guys go to some extreme
That's what I'm
lengths
saying.
to propose.
Yes.
I saw a guy, I think one time he had an aircraft, right, passing over some stadium or something.
And to
marry me,
yes.
marry me so and so.
Yes, that's,
I mean, at a time like that, for the female to tell him no, I don't know about that, huh? I think
but that's the thing, Andre. It's about being honest and not getting into something. It's a bigger mess to get into something like a marriage when you really don't want to do it. So if he does all that, Andre, and then what they're saying is timing is important. You let a day pass because everything is, but you have to pull him up and say, if you want to do it nicely, you have to give the reply as quick as possible. Nobody likes it when you delay them, even if they are patient.
So you're talking about a scenario where you have said yes.
Yes, you said yes,
Yeah.
or maybe you've said, let you think about it, because sometimes some of us may not say yes or no in the moment. We're so surprised. Ma'am, I'm not sure. What they're saying is that timing is important. You have to be able to make a decision within the shortest possible time. Don't wait for a week or two before you say to the gentleman or the young lady that you're not interested. Now, I mean, the caller before did mention, sounded like me when I said I would not propose to a man. But what if you were a woman who proposed to a guy, and men are very because it's normally a man thing. Maybe a man do not want to tell you yes. Men probably will not say yes quicker than women, right? So the man is like, well, I'm not sure. Let me think about that. And he's sitting on that for a whole week or two without saying to the young lady, I'm not interested in that right now, or providing the reason. So again, here that's what we're saying. The different ways you can do it and the different reasons why you may not want to get married. But do not wait for days. Pay attention to your timing when somebody has asked you to marry them. It's an important thing that they have just done. Tell them of your personal situation. So be honest about your present limitations without thinking about the consequences that it will have on your relationship. This makes your choice seem less like a judgment, and it seems to them more like your personal situation of not getting married right now. This can be one of the ways to reject a marriage proposal. So you can say something like, I wish to tell you the truth. I am not in a position where I can commit to getting married right now. Or you can say, I will always be true to where I am in my life, even though I truly love our relationship and care about you, but I can't get married right now. Right? Now, some of us are so afraid to say that. Now, if you in a relationship with somebody, you should be open and relaxed enough to let them know how you really feel about the proposal.
I think if it's done in private, it's a lot easier to maneuver than in public. Because remember,
Yes.
some guys go to some extremes
And they
to
spend a
propose.
lot of money, Andre.
And the
Sometimes
lady
people
now-
spend a lot of money, and the ring is bought, especially in the situation of the ring. Because remember, in my opening vignette, I spoke of the big shiny diamond. Like some people go overboard, buy a ring, insure the ring,
Yes.
do all that, and then the person says, "No, I would not like to get married to you," and some people end up really heartbroken. Now, I think no is not for me. Although a marriage proposal is a big deal, I think no is a better answer than yes if you're really not into getting married to that person. So for me, I don't see it as a big issue. I think a man or woman should respect you more if you say no when you really think about it. Because why would I say yes to you and I know I am hurting inside or I'm feeling really bad that I've now made this commitment or given you this promise that we're gonna get married. And a lot of situations where you see people they've been engaged for 15 years.
Yes.
Now it may not be that the person do not want to get married, but it could also be a situation where you stall the marriage, the actual event, right? So they're saying to tell them of your current situation, your future uncertainty. If you need to reject someone for marriage due to concerns about future uncertainty, you might say, I am unable to commit to the marriage, and in the future maybe some things I'm seeing with our situation, I'm not sure that in the future it will be the same. So because of that confusion or the fact that you are not settled in your commitment to that person, you can decide the future does not look like something that is certain with you. So for now, I would rather suggest, take a pause on pushing to marriage. Yeah, Andre? And of course, the callers can let me know how would you feel if somebody told you, well, future-wise, I don't know. I cannot think of the future just yet with you in terms of a marriage. So I would like us to pause. Sometimes they're saying different life goals. Sometimes you without placing blame on anyone about the difference that you have in your life goals, you watch somebody and you're like, okay, the things they want to do may not be something I am interested in doing going down the road. You're dating them, but you're not sure that you want to you share some of the same goals they have.
You have a call.
I have a call?
This is Unrestricted with Lotus.
Yes. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah. Can I say what I have to say in Creole? Can you understand?
Yes,
Creole?
of course. Yes.
Okay. All right. Samuel vle dire, avant yon moun madame moun pou maye, I kan yon li de an li même dat moun sa la vle maye ek li. Vous comprenez? I pa kan just jwen moun an, ya vive ek li. I comprendre moun an. So lè kay mande moun sa pou maye, I ka expect moun sa kay di oui ya we tout sign that moun sa la antewe se pou maye ek li avant. Now, you have a thing saying is what we talk about and what we don't talk about. Now, I'm just saying what I have heard and what I haven't heard. I never heard the no part. You understand what I'm saying? I never heard the no part.
That's right. That's why we want to talk about that today.
Yeah, what I heard already is yes, and in some instances is when you propose, the person tell you how soon. That's it. You have the maye. So that is what I had to say today, and I just want to say before I go, Andre, that is the second time I've been calling your Rev-Up. Yeah, last night I did make a comment on your radio station, and this is my second time.
Oh,
and
I remember.
I want to tell you, big up to Rev-Up. You understand?
Thank you.
I enjoying it, Andrew. Okay?
Thank you very much.
And
Thank you.
just a little before I run again, I want to let you know that my name is Patrick Rigobert. I that same person, Lucy Jean Pierre, does always shout out Pato, Pato.
Okay, Pato.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Yes.
Got
So
you.
one of these days we'll talk a little more, and I will give you a little more about myself.
Looking forward
okay?
to it.
Okay.
Yeah, man. No problem. No
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. But he said that you would have an idea, but that's not always the case. People sometimes meet somebody and in 2 weeks they get married to them, or
Yes.
they want to get married. They don't know the person enough, and they don't even know if the person will say yes. But I think too, the part of it in his mind, maybe on the part of the proposer, the person who is asking the other person, in their mind, they imagine that the person will say yes. But it's an imagination, Andre. But some people will tell you, I mean, situations like love at first sight or soulmates, where you just meet someone and, Andre, you look at the person, you're like, I don't know, something about that person, that's my soulmate, right? And so because you feel that on your spirit so heavily, you decide to ask the person to get married to you in 4 days. And it happens, you know. A lot of people tell you they've met somebody and they know they wanted to get married to the person
Yes.
in a week or two.
I know at least one relationship where they got married pretty quickly.
Pretty quickly.
And they're still together.
You see
Yeah.
what I mean?
I think they were dating for about a month.
And then there are situations where they got married pretty quickly and it crashed
Of course.
pretty quickly as well. So, I mean, it's the situation. Sometimes people just imagine that it will work out and they're in a space where they can ask you to get married and they want to get married and they feel it in their system and they decide to do that. But you don't know if the person is going to say yes. And today that's what we're saying. The person is saying no. Because that, like the caller said previously, we scarcely hear of the no's, right? Everybody's saying yes. I tell you, I have never seen somebody ask somebody to get married and for them to say no at the time.
I'm sure you can get a video on that. But before you continue, I was just thinking. You know, there are some relationships where either the man or the woman, they have no intention whatsoever to get married to that
get
person.
married.
No intention whatsoever.
Yes.
And they've been together for quite a while.
Yeah.
Quite a while. In some cases, up to about maybe close to about 30 years. And they have no intention of marrying. And I know a relationship like
Yeah,
that.
but that's fine, Andre, because again, remember one of the things we talk about when we talk about relationships, we talk about compatibility. Some people are not interested in marriage. And that's fine. If you have a man who doesn't want to marry you and you don't want to marry him, then you all are happy. Things are great. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Halle Berry. She had married about maybe 3 times, and now she's with the love of her life, and they're not married. That, you know, so for her, it could be that the trauma of getting married, you know, and having it end, they've decided, you know what, we're not getting married, we're just going to be together and we're going to be happy.
Yeah, because I guess she's tried it the other way already.
Yeah, exactly. But
And
you
3
know,
times.
That's right. So sometimes, you know, it works out. If you don't want to get married, you don't want to get married. So again, I was talking about before, your life goals may be different. So you can, without assigning blame, be explicit about the ways in which your goals differ. And this indicates that you're thinking about the future and that it is important that you both agree on important life decisions. Because sometimes, I mean, you with somebody, but you're watching what the trajectory of their life is going to be, and you're saying to yourself, I don't know if that I want to be part of that, you know, making those goals. But you don't want to make an immediate decision to leave the person or to dismiss the relationship. But if the person come up with marriage, you would be like, whoa, that's a bit too much. So I just would like to wait. Or you can say your goals and mine don't seem to be aligned. The other reason she's saying is that you could say growth is needed. Right? So thinking about how to reject a marriage proposal, well, if you want to reject someone nicely, then let them know by saying things like, I believe that before considering marriage, we should both have more time to develop as individuals. And you do value your relationship, but you believe that investing more time in personal development will strengthen your bond. So in this situation, Andre, it could mean that you know, you and I are dating, and I think that when I look at how you are growing, your growth doesn't seem to be enough for me. Like, you know, you're not developed enough, and I don't want us to jump into a marriage if I'm seeing that we need to grow more as individuals. And so that's one of the reasons if you're saying no and you realize that y'all are not growing enough or y'all need self development, you can use that as one of the opportunities to say that. Emphasize the mutual benefits of the need for growth, and this shows that you are thinking about the relationship long-term stability and the growth of both parties. So you can say, we're not in that space. I think we need to grow more as individuals. It could also be that you've shared your own traumas as young people, or what you went through as a child, and maybe you need to do your own healing and your own growth as well, and so you're not ready to commit to a relationship. Because I think sometimes when you get into a relationship, you have your own self-development. Now requiring somebody to adjust to that is a tall order, I think, right? So if you're not in the same, you're not on the same page, you don't think the person is developed enough, you might not want to jump into a marriage and maybe want to do it together. Maybe they may not want to do it together. Maybe you want to do it by yourself. Some people are interested in going to counseling together. Some people are not. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So they're saying that's one of the reasons, one of the things, again, you can say why you do not want to get married at that time. Right? Appreciate and respect for each other. So you have to express your feelings clearly and do it with respect to the other person, so that you, again, like I said in the first instance, you're not saying things that you regret, or certain words that you don't use. You express your feelings, but you do not just barge out and start making statements that maybe it could be that the person is doing something, or the person has a particular problem, so you're not using that against the person to say no. You have to respect the person in terms of looking at why you're not ready for the marriage right now. The other thing is that they're saying is to talk about relationship issues. So again, in the relationship, you might be with the person for a while, Andre, and if you're with the person for a while, it means that you have developed that relationship with that person. You know certain traits about the person knows certain things about you, you know how the person deals with money, you know how the person deals with children, you know how the person feels about religion, you know how the person feels about politics. These are important things. And then the person turn around to ask you to get married. Now you know in your heart of hearts you are Muslim and you're not going to leave the Muslim faith. But you heard a person saying things about being, in another religion. And you know to yourself, no, that's not somebody I want to get married to, because this is an issue that we have had. We've spoken about that. Politics is a big one as well. Sometimes people have different affiliations and they work well, but sometimes people they feel so strongly about their political views that you cannot marry somebody that is not of the same political background, or the same political opinion. Yes. So if there's relationship issues, say things like, I think that before we talk about marriage, we should address some unresolved issues. This shows that there are issues or worries in your relationship that must be resolved initially. So you must address those things before. So if you have a woman and you know that you are strong Catholic, and you know she believes in her Sabbath, so she's an SDA, is it something that you will be able to do in a marriage? Because it may be okay. Some people will tell you, okay, I go to church on a Sunday. For them, they're not so tied to the doctrine that they can marry somebody that goes on a Saturday. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But there are some people who, from a religious perspective and the Bible, and they're so deep in that for them, all the children must be confirmed. And if you're an Adventist, your children must be dedicated. You know what I mean? Yes. So there are fundamental differences in the religious proclivities that people might want to look at, right? And so that takes part of looking at your different personal beliefs. What you believe personally vis-a-vis what the unit may believe together. So you may decide that I am not ready to get married yet because I believe one thing, and somebody, for instance, you may be dating somebody who is actually racist, and you don't know how they feel about another race or treating people a particular way. You may be dating somebody who is not very kind to people who are bisexual or homosexual. You remember you had a show yesterday about bisexual. I mean, these are things you have to also think of. And I thought about it when I was listening to the show yesterday, Andre. I said maybe people don't talk about these things before they even get married or pop the question. They do not ask these questions, right? Are you bisexual? So that I would know, okay, I'm okay with getting married to somebody who is bisexual, or I'm okay with getting married to somebody who doesn't have a problem with a homosexual family member, or that kind of thing. People have their deep-seated feelings, and if you have personal beliefs that are different, this is an opportunity to say that you're not ready for the marriage, because clearly you clearly have an opinion and state why you think they differ. And so this demonstrates respect for the person's feelings, and it aids in your partner's understanding of your own viewpoints as well. And it's an opportunity as well to have you communicate with each other, right? Yes, Andre, you paying attention?
Yes. Just responding to when you wear many caps. Yeah, that's what happens.
The other thing, Andre, is that and listeners, you can say that you are not ready for marriage as yet. Right? When you are clearly not ready for marriage, then clearly state things like, I don't want to jump into marriage just because I am not ready for it yet. Simply saying this is one of the ways to reject a marriage proposal. This suggests that you're not quite ready to commit to such a large task and that you feel like you need more time. Now, you may to cushion the blow, you may say that you need more time, right? You may tell somebody, I'm not ready for marriage as yet. I see myself maybe needing a little more time, maybe in the next year or two. So you give the person some perspective, and that's important as well, because you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody and the person wants to be locked down after 2 years in the marriage, and you feel that you need 5 years in a marriage to really decide that. Make that decision.
Let me ask you a question. Is there a difference between living together? Okay, you have a relationship and you live together vis-a-vis getting married. Is there a difference?
Say that again, Andre.
Yeah, you're living together with your lady, with your guy, and say you've been living together for 5 years. Now, people are saying, I'm not ready for the marriage yet. What is the difference? Is there a difference with the relationship? Does it change in any way? Why would somebody, well, I want you to tell me, what's the difference between living together and getting married? What's the difference?
Well, Andre, if you're living together, I mean, according to the precepts of marriage, when you look at the legalities involved, it is different than if you're just living with the person and you don't have that thing in paper. You don't have the stamp, Andre. Andre, if I have my land and we've been living together, right? And you came and you met me at my house and you added maybe a sheet of galvanized or posts. Andre, there's nothing. We could live together for 10 years. There's nothing to say that you can get. You will get anything.
No. Whatever you have before the marriage is yours. I mean, that's the law. That's the law. Whatever you have before the marriage
so
is
I'm
yours.
saying it changes. The thing changes if you get married.
As a matter of fact, the advantages are much greater when you get married than living together.
You think so?
Oh yeah, but you have a call. Hello there. This is.
Morning, Andre.
Hello, good morning.
Yes.
Welcome to Unrestricted.
Good morning to the host.
Lotus.
Lotus, yes. I don't know why I forget the name Lotus. Yeah, but Andre, that topic. My mind is so focused on Pastor Phil with that topic. But let me just try to see if I could add a little to this. Lotus, I will look at it strictly from a spiritual point of view. A man shall leave his mother and father's home and cleave unto his wife and become one in flesh. Cleave meaning that you will stick, you will get married, that person becomes you become that person, you become one. I don't know, I am not going to sanction two people shacking up, no matter how long, and you just tell me, oh, you love that person. And I think what the problem with our people when it comes to marriage is that we want to change people whilst we are in there. God gave you somebody that he said that will be your helpmate. And I think he gave that person to you with all the ingredients, all the requirements. It is the problem. The problem is we sometimes want to change this person, and this is why marriages don't last. I am a 26-year-old married man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my age is different, but I'm married 26 years.
Okay.
When I first started with my wife, to be honest with you, I married my wife out of, should I say, desperation. I was in a relationship that went bad, and I met somebody and I said to myself, that is just probably to cover up. But we are 26 years, going on to 27 years.
Let me ask you a
all in
question.
relationship right now.
Let me ask you a question. When you got married to her, when you proposed, did she say yes immediately?
Well, the thing is, yes, she did, but we already had like a 3-4 years together already.
Okay, all right.
So, but I mean, yes, you have to analyze the person, watch the person. I'm going to tell you that after the 4 years we were together, that still didn't give me the right to say to her, that didn't give her the right to say yes to me. I probably had already seen a few things that could have told me, no, I should not get married to this person. And serious issues, I could tell you, serious issues that could have prevented us from getting married. But you know what I said to myself? I said to myself, I cannot change this person. It's me. I have to do what I have to do, what God gave me. I have to work with what God gave me.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest with you, she's a better saver than I am. I spend more.
Okay.
There are lots of things, but I balance everything. I said, you know what? Don't try to change that person. God gave you somebody. She gave you a woman. She gave you a lady. She gave you a female. She gave you a helpmate. She gave somebody to help you, not to change her, not that person to change you.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see people like Halle Berry, Jennifer Lopez. These people marriages, I don't really take them things serious because these people are Hollywood stars just trying to run. These people just need control. They have the money, they have this, and these people want to have things their way and they control. Nah. So these things, I don't expect them to work. Anytime you hear Hollywood marriages, I ain't one that really follow these things. But I'm looking at a spiritual point of view. Marriage is meant, it's a beautiful thing. It was created by God. It was sanctioned by God. And I will never ever support anybody living in fornication, and I'm being blunt about it.
Okay.
It ain't making no sense. If I could stay with you 25 years, shacking up, we can as well be husband and wife. What makes it change because we get married? That things going south. No, sometimes we are just demanding. We want to change people. We want to do things our way, and if it's not our way, it's the highway or no way at all. Okay. And so I think that has been the problem. Okay. For man shall leave his mother and father's home, cleave unto his wife, become one in flesh. Mm-hmm. You are going to have somebody that is not your child. That is not your child. Just remember that. That is not your child. So let us work together. Let us communicate. Let us correct things where it seems to go wrong. And sometimes, outside influences sometimes speak louder than the voices inside the house. So you find that I want to buy a TV. I'm working because I'm the woman. I'm working. Other women will come and tell me, they will never tell you, you know what, I think you should discuss that with the husband, or you should go and discuss that with your wife. That is why you see, as for my 26 years of marriage, I do not go outside to seek information on my marriage. I have a problem. My wife, I know I had a serious problem with spending. I decided from some time ago, you know what, my wife is going to control my finances. I don't care whether people look at me and say, no, my wife saves more than me. I have a few things in life because of my wife.
Okay.
So I just wanted to add that part to it. I think if we go God's way and take God's guidance and guidelines for marriage, we'll have a better marriage society.
Okay.
There's too much divorce, too much separation, too much living in shock because we don't follow God's guidance. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
No problem.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Well, Andre, he was talking about the actual union. You were saying that you don't think there's any difference between,
no, there is a difference.
Somebody is together with the person for 5 years.
No, you were saying that
the marriage changes things.
Right.
Yeah,
and I'm saying
I believe that the marriage changes.
Advantages to the marriage.
To the marriage. Okay.
Advantages for the woman, for the children, as a matter of fact. Okay. So it's at another level.
But I thought you started by saying, what is the difference between being together and being married.
Yeah,
But there's a difference.
Yeah, apart from the advantages, I'm talking about
Okay.
the relationship.
The relationship itself.
Yes. How does that? How does it change? If for example people are just dating,
Yeah.
they don't live together. I understand that, but the two of you are living together. Okay, it's to
I
me.
think-
To
I
me,
think-
the only thing that's different is that you're not legally married.
Yeah, but Andre, it's our own personal attributes that change within us. You know, all the time somebody is your boyfriend, and now you got married to them, he's your husband. I think internally some of us change because of that, because of just the title is changing. Innately we get that kind of boost in our attitude, in our step, so our behavior changes, and sometimes it changes for the worst. Yeah, I think so, Andre, because we're people that it's almost like you get a promotion, right? And you now have a little bit more arrogance since you got the promotion. So you're a boyfriend, you say, oh, that's my boyfriend. And people would tell you all the time, meet my boyfriend. But when they have to say meet my husband, for some reason their voice goes up an octave. So, Andre, it's probably, that pride attached to that. And if you do not watch how, again, people call and talk about the spiritual aspect, where you are grounded in the spirit, and you look at the marriage rather than being grounded in your own self aggrandization, where you just feel now I'm married, I can talk to my husband anyhow, he's my husband, now I can talk louder, I can
Really?
I have a more
So
solid footing.
How does a marriage change that all of a sudden
Sometimes people do, Andre. I'm sure the callers will tell you. Sometimes people do. That's
you
why
have a
some people
caller?
will tell you,
You have a caller.
my wife was one way and all of a sudden now, she's a different way since we got married. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted.
Good morning, Lotus. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Lotus, I just wanted to say something. Sometimes influence of family. For experience, my first relationship, I said no to the relationship, and then I changed and I said yes. Like, that was like the most stupid thing. I mean, I didn't.
Why
get
did you
married.
do that? Why did you do that, if I may ask?
Because I was told that there is no better man out there, and I already have a man, and we live in together, and we have so much that so many people don't have. Why would I
Okay.
throw that away?
Okay.
Yes, I've heard that
Right?
already.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard
And
that.
then I changed my mind, and then 2 months before the wedding, I found out he was cheating, and I ended up not getting married.
Okay,
So,
great, bravo.
I
Good for
just
you.
want to say that sometimes we need to stick to our feeling, and if we want to say no, don't allow anyone to influence you to change your mind. You have to follow your heart and do what's best for you.
That's right.
Thank
That's
you.
right. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And that's what we're talking about, is about saying no if you feel it. And there are many different reasons. We've been just exploring the various reasons why somebody would say no to a proposal, that we don't have to say no. But Andre, you're looking so confused.
Yeah.
It's true, Andre.
Yeah.
Andre, it's life.
Because when you are in a illegitimate relationship, you're not married. To me, the attitude is the same way. Women are jealous. They feel like they own you. You're mine.
Not all the time.
So how does the marriage
the marriage,
change that?
because a marriage is a significant. You never see people say when women are married and they have their rings, right? They always tell you hello with the hand facing where the ring is. They're like hi, and they put up their hand so you can see the ring. They do an extra because now they're married as opposed to when they're not married. It is very, very true. It's a thing, Andre. Sometimes a woman feels like she's just in a relationship, she's not married, or there's no ring, nothing. She's walking with 5 steps. Then you give her the engagement ring, her steps now improve to 15 steps, Andre. When she gets married, it's now 30 steps. There is, I think, innately some of us behave those ways. That's why in some relationships, both men and women will tell you, we were together for 5 years, the relationship was good. As soon as I asked her to marry me, and now she's married, she's my wife, she's a totally different person. She has just flipped. Now she's married to me, she feels she have more position. It's like the position has now improved, or his position has now improved. People behave that way, Andre. Not everybody stays the same before the marriage.
You have a call.
I do.
Yes. This is Unrestricted with Lotus.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Andre. Good morning, Lotus.
Good morning. Good
Morning.
morning to you.
Okay. How are you?
I'm well.
Lotus?
I'm well, thanks. What about you?
I'm okay, fine, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Thanks for accepting my call.
You're welcome.
There is a song that said, "Don't say yes when you mean no."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Let me ask you, which one comes first? Engage and proposal. Which one comes first?
Well, the proposal comes first. It's the preamble to the engagement, no?
But do you have to propose when you engaging somebody? There's no proposal.
Well, that's a proposal, Andre. Yes, it is a proposal.
So why
You're talking about the actual engagement celebration?
Why don't they, when you
No, to engage.
when you engage
But
somebody?
if you engage the person, right, and the person has
and you
said
said that's
yes,
a proposal?
that it is a proposal. It is part of the proposal. It comes so the man says, "Will you marry me?" Right? That's the proposal.
Right.
He gives you an engagement ring. You said yes. He gives you an engagement ring. It's you're engaged now.
Ah.
What's the confusion?
Yeah. I mean, if you give a lady an engagement ring, you that's not a proposal.
It's an engagement.
Yeah.
Well, you do the proposal first, and then you give her the ring. To me, it's part and parcel of the proposal and the engagement together. Yeah, Andre, one time.
Anyway.
I mean, you can propose without a ring, if that's what you're saying. I mean, you can ask somebody to marry you and not have a ring. I think that's
Because
that's
the
possible.
caller is asking a good question. Which comes first, the proposal or the engagement? That's what he's asking.
I think the proposal is first. Caller, what's your take?
Why? I don't know.
Because if you ask somebody to marry you, it's the proposal, no?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the engage come after?
And in that time, you can either at the time of asking, you can have a ring, which is an engagement ring, and then the person now after that you give the person the ring and the person says yes, then the person is engaged.
Okay.
You're engaged now.
Okay. Because I always believe a man is the one supposed to ask the lady to get married. Yeah, I believe in that one. But what pissed me off sometimes, some men on the deathbed, and the last moment, and when they're on the deathbed, they want to marry the lady. Luther, this thing pissed me off. I know people about that. I mean, one of the famous, he passed away, the late Malcolm Marshall, the fast bowler, the cricketer. Yeah, I mean, he was with this lady for so long, the Barbadian, for so long. On his deathbed, he had colon cancer. That's the time he married the lady, and I don't like that, and I don't.
Well,
and
she could have said no, eh? She could have said no.
A marriage. This thing I don't consider him as marriage.
Why? Because it's done on his deathbed.
On his deathbed, and the man about 3-4 days after the man died.
Now that is significant. It says a lot. It says a lot in terms of just the discussion. Because why do you feel the need to marry someone on your exit?
Deathbed?
Yeah, as you're exiting.
I think I can guess the reason for that, because the lady was the one who was taking care of him, so he felt, oh, she really does love me.
Really,
so
Andrea?
At this moment, Andrea, on your deathbed,
Yes,
at the time
yes.
you know the lady really love you?
Yes.
So it's a symbol of her love on
Because
his way out.
a lot of us, especially when we have riches and so on, we don't really trust.
Now I think you're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
If he has a lot of money, I can understand
Maybe
that
allow
caller.
somebody to.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
They want to be sure.
But I can
You have
understand.
another call.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello. Good morning. Welcome to
Hello, good
Unrestricted.
Hello, yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I sense that Andre is very much aware of the difference between courting and marrying someone. But he's just playing devil's advocate.
No.
Okay.
Courting, no, I wasn't talking about courting. I'm talking about living together.
You're living with the person for
You're
5
living,
years.
Yeah, with this person. You are sharing a
actually
home.
living with them
Yes.
and marrying. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the difference is, and I always tell young persons that, that the difference between marriage and living with someone or courting with them is marriage is a lifelong commitment. That is the word, a commitment. When you are living with somebody, there is there's no real commitment there.
Really?
It's just that you two are sharing a house and so on. And sometimes you have situations where people are sharing, they are sharing, and then they basically, they're not committed to each other.
Wow.
When you make a marriage proposal, you are committing yourself to that person, and that person, in fact, when you marry someone, right, you are committing yourselves to each other, right? And then it means that, the question of other persons, compromising the relationship is a no-go, especially if we look at it from a spiritual dimension. All right?
So you're saying when people live together, they're not committed?
When people live together, they have not made a lifelong commitment to each other as compared to marriage, where you make a lifelong commitment when you get married. The shacking up or living together is a casual thing. Sometimes people, they would start there and they might end up many years doing it. Why haven't they got married? They'll tell you, I fear that if I get married, maybe things might not work out. She might want to boss me around. I tie myself up. I don't want to tie myself up. All these are the kind of the reasons people give for not getting married. It would be good to find out why people don't get married, Like the good thing of survey to find out why people live together and get married. It'd be interesting to find out the kind of reasons that they give you, But when you get married, it's a different thing. Now you have committed yourself to that person, and the whole situation changes in terms of what is expected of you,
Interesting.
So I think that's the key thing.
The formality.
When you're living together, it's things ain't work out. We break up this thing, that ain't working. But when you get married, you don't think of you're breaking up,
you can just walk away.
It's a commitment, So this is the difference, and I rather suspect that Andre is aware of the difference.
Okay.
All right, caller. You have a final call.
Okay.
Final call.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Unrestricted. You're our final caller.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, a couple of things. Like Andre had never been married, right?
Yes, sir.
Andre, have you been married?
No.
Okay. So when you get married, it's different. It's a different feeling. It's just like when you have kids. A lot of people tell you how they love kids. They love kids. The only way you know in your love is when you have your own kids. Okay. Don't mind anybody who tell you they love kids and they're gonna do everything for kids. That's until they have their own kids. When you have your own kids, it's a different feeling. Once that kid come out, especially when you're in that room with that woman, and you see that kid come out, everything changes. Okay? And marriage is almost the same way. Marriage is, when you get married, you have that authority. That's what you get. You get authority when you get married. Okay? Things like before you would say my girlfriend and this and that, and you could walk away anytime you want. You could say, I don't want to be in a relationship anymore, and just walk away. When you get married, it's different. You have everything's got to be planned. And if it's not planned, that it's different. It's official. You cannot just say I'm done. It's got to be a formality in that to be done.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's so different that between living together and getting married. You could live with a woman for 15 years and just live tomorrow and nothing happens. You're just done. You don't have to go to court. You don't have to sign this paper. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. Nothing of that. But when you get married, you have to think of these things. If that happens, this is what's going to happen. So there's a formality in it, and there's the authority that you have when you get married. A woman has authority, and you have authority. You can't just say, I'm going to do that, and she can't say, I'm going to do this.
Okay.
Thank you. Paula.
Thank you, Paula.
Okay, we have to wrap things up.
Yes, Andre. That was very interesting. I hope the women are listening. I hope men are listening. The authority, Andre. So, Andre, you'll have to think of whether or not you want that authority when you get married, vis-a-vis living with somebody, Andre. So, let's just close. But we were basically talking about why people say no, and that you can say no to an engagement if you really do not want to be married or you do not want to go down that road as yet. The final thing I will say is don't take back your rejection message. That is important. Don't take back your rejection message. I mean, some people may say you may change your mind, but if you know you not ready for marriage, you don't give the person false hope. Don't say, yes and you mean no, or no and you mean stick to the decisions that you've made. So if you said no, then no is no, and then you give your reasons, and you can continue either to be in the relationship and work towards that time, or to take the position that you do not want to get married. But I think ultimately they're saying is to preserve the person's dignity and confidentiality in how you do things. If somebody has asked you to marry them and you do not want to marry them, you do it with respect and dignity at the end of the day, and confidentiality. You don't make it a public thing. So if the person asks you to get married on Facebook, you don't reject them on Facebook. You can do it nicely, privately, and give them the opportunity to reveal to people that you said no. So they would be the ones responsible for saying to their family members, well, she's not ready yet or whatever, instead of you now putting on Facebook that I said no to him, or I don't want to get married yet. You know how sometimes these days we have everything in the public domain. But you want to do it with dignity and respect. But you can say no to a marriage proposal. It is worse to say yes if you know you do not want to do it, to end up in divorce court, than to say no, and you can work on having something that is more substantial when you're ready.
Indeed. Okay, Lotus, thank you very much for your service as always. Until next week, Wednesday, same time, 9 o'clock, for another Unrestricted. Have yourself a great day.
I will definitely try my best. Andrea, you too. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, callers, for making the show what it is, and we'll see you next week, Wednesday.
All right, so stand by now for Hard Drive. That's coming up next, so please don't go away. We'll just take a little break from Facebook, YouTube, and X, and get back to you in just a moment for Hard Drive.